Hey YouTube, welcome back to the show. Today I want to talk about a rumor that is flying around the place that Apple may be out there shaping up to buy Sony, or at least have a crack at some of its divisions. So let's talk about that in the context of what does that actually mean. First up, look, I'm not 100% sure Sony would be all that keen to sell off its most profitable division. So I don't think the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation brand is at risk of being purchased by Apple. I don't think that would be something Sony are keen to sell. It is the crown or it is the jewel, I should say, in the crown. So I don't think they'd be willing to chop off their most profitable piece and throw that out the window. But I do think that they're a business. They have to make wise business decisions, and if that means cutting off some of the unprofitable parts, the parts that are just costing the company money and not really contributing to anything significant in the way of profitability for shareholders or the company in general, then it does make sense to cut and run on some of those other assets. And one of those assets that I think is more logical is the movie division. So I think it does make sense for Sony to consider cutting some of those divisions that don't necessarily make sense with their business model going forward. And if they can't make movies work, or the movies aren't going to be a critical part of their business going forward, then they are quite right to consider selling it. And selling it to a big company like Apple probably makes a lot of sense. You know, there's not too many suitors out there with the cash that Apple does to make big investments that could really help set Sony up for the future, whether that's with the PlayStation 4 or other investment opportunities. You know, having that level of cash that an Apple could provide for a Sony movie division could be really helpful for Sony in the long run. Look, and the other thing that Sony would have to consider is that, you know, these opportunities don't come by every day of the week. You know, there's not too many Apples out there with the cash to really come in and take on such an expensive opportunity. So there you go. Look, I would suggest that it is possible that Sony would consider selling, you know, parts of its business that aren't necessarily all that profitable. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I actually think it's a really good thing, and I think it could actually benefit Sony in the long run. So I would encourage them to chop off the fat, you know, chop off those elements of the business that just aren't making them money. This would also in turn, in my opinion, allow them to double down on the things that are making them profitable, the things that are working. Because I think at the end of the day, it would make Sony a leaner, healthier company with a stronger and more vibrant future. The other thing that I think we all have to remember is the landscape for gaming is changing, and Sony need to be prepared for that. You know, this whole cloud gaming future is something that I don't think Sony can ignore, and I think it's very important that they shape their business up to be able to handle something like that in the future. Anyway guys, there you go, just a quick little video. If you've liked today's video, please remember to smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and as always guys, get involved in the conversation via the comment section down below, and I'll see you all in the next video.